Hello collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Voyager class Ironhide from the Transformers Studio series from Hasbro. This is from his appearance in Transformers War for Cybertron, and this is a repaint slash retool of the Ratchet that we got previously. They always do Ratchet and Ironhide out of the same mold, makes total sense. We have the new streamlined packaging here. You have the plastic window, and he is kind of wildly mistransformed in there just to fit him in the box. You can see that big panel there up on the back. Obviously, that's going to condense down. But we have some nice artwork of the robot mode and the vehicle mode here on the front. Close-up of the robot mode here on the side. And then over here, you just kind of have the picture continuing on to the side, since there's no mural or anything for Studio Series. Over here on the back, we have kind of a still from the game, which is kind of cool. We have nice product shots of the robot mode and the vehicle mode. Shows him wielding the axe. Looks like he comes with the same axe that Ratchet had. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for this one. Always a big fan of Ironhide. Let's go ahead, let's get him out of the packaging here, and we'll take a closer look. Here is Ironhide out of the packaging. I think he looks pretty great. So this big panel piece back here in the box, I'll pull this back, was kind of up like this and flattened out. And that just obviously isn't correct, but it's very simple. You just bring it down, you fold these two pieces in, and then there's two tabs right here, and there are two tab slots on the back. You just bring it down and peg it right in, and then your Ironhide is good to go. He is primarily red with a little bit of gunmetal gray. Some of it's a little bit darker than others, but I feel like all the joint gray pieces are the same, and then you just have this little bit of extra paint here for the vehicle mode. It'll be definitely more prominent in the vehicle mode, but yeah, he looks good. If you got the Ratchet before him, not really much new going on here. You do have a new chest, new head. Honestly, might be it here. Let's bring Ratchet in so we can see them side by side. They look great. Definitely happy to have both of them. Like I said, you can definitely see the chest has been remolded. Of course, the head. Shoulder pads. Yeah, I guess the shoulder pads are different as well. I think like the forearms, the legs, all that's the same. The piece here, a little bit remolded there. You can see this section is a little different. This piece on the back is probably the same. So, you know, it's enough different that I think it made sense. Like, obviously, these guys have always been from the same mold since back in the G1 days. But they've changed enough here that it does feel like a separate figure. And I like having them both. They look good side by side. Now, he does have the exact same axe. So you can see that that is the same. Maybe the orange is a little darker on his. It's about the only difference. And obviously this piece is made out of white, whereas here it's made out of gray. But it goes into the hand the same way. You just have to slide in the bottom part of the axe through the bottom of his fist and then reattach this part. And there you go. He is wielding his axe. Looks good. He has this long-barreled gun. I guess this is maybe like a sniper or something like that. It has a big peg here on the bottom, so if you want him to just hold it, you can absolutely do that. But in keeping with all of the War for Cybertron figures, you can also pop off the arm and attach it like so. So if you want it to look like his arm transformed into the gun, they're still keeping that alive, which I appreciate. It feels like they're trying to get away from it by giving all of the guns these big pegs now so the characters can just hold them, but they are still sticking to that. I don't know how much more this line's got in it for War for Cybertron. We'll have to wait and see, but I like everything they've done so far, for the most part. And the cool thing about Ironhide is exact same as Ratchet. You can bring this down, and you can take the arm, and you can peg it in here to the back, and then this closes up over top, so you can hide that extra arm piece away if you have it transformed into the gun, which I think that's really cool. I really appreciate that because it hides perfectly. Like, you can't even hardly tell it's in there, and that's just really awesome. So if you want to display them like this, you won't lose the arm, which is nice. Now, conversely, if you want to store all the weapons on the back, I'll take the arm back out of here, close this back up. There we go. Reattach his arm. And I'll take the axe out of his hand, which I have to say the axe handle is a snug fit, which is good because you don't want it flopping around, but it can be a little annoying to get in and out of his hand. Pop this back on, and then there is a little peg spot right there, And there is a little peg on the side of the gun, so you can store the gun here on the bottom, like that. And then the axe, there is a spot right there, and so you can peg this on the back like that. Which I don't love that. I mean, the gun is one thing, but having that axe just hang down like that, I really don't like it. If anything, I wish you could store the axe on the back, like at a 45-degree angle, so it looks like, you know, he's getting ready to wield it. Something like that would be cool. You can't even do it like this, because if you take a close look at the tab slot, there's like a little notch in at the top, so it's not a perfect rectangle. And so when you come to this peg, you can see that that notch is there on the top. So you have to put it on like this. Because I thought, well, maybe I can at least do this and just have the pole sticking straight up. Unfortunately, not the case. So that's a bit of a bummer. I don't love the storage, but I don't often store these things on the back anyway. But it's there if you want to. But yeah, overall, I think he looks good. Let me get these accessories out of the way. We'll move into articulation. So the head's on a ball joint. Can look up ever so slightly, look down ever so slightly, turn side to side. Can't really tilt side to side. Just like with Ratchet, the shoulder pads are kind of a separate piece. So there is movement there, you can see, where it connects to the actual torso. And then there's a ball joint for the actual shoulder pad itself. And then the arm under here, you have a little bit of wiggle up and down, but mostly it's a spin. And then you have a hinge here. And then you have a bicep swivel, 90 degrees in the elbow, and you have a wrist swivel. So you can kind of put the arm wherever you want, and then just drop the shoulder pad on top. Got a waist swivel. Kick nicely far forward, nicely far back. Move the arm out of the way here. Kick nicely to the side, so great range of motion in the hips. You have the thigh swivel directly above the knee. 90 degrees there in the knee. And then you got ankle tilt. Pretty decent ankle tilt. Yeah, I guess you can do all the way 90. This one's kind of like, almost feels ratcheted. Like it wants to stop in certain spots, which can be kind of annoying. But this one, I don't know if this one's just loose or what, but this one will do whatever you want. So I don't know if that's mine, just a QC thing. But I don't have any problem getting them to stand. So ankle tilt's working fine. The one thing is, I kind of feel like a natural pose would be to kind of have like the legs bent a little bit. But, well, okay, now he's going to stand. I was going to say, it almost feels like, see how he kind of wants to lean backwards because of the way the legs are done? They're kind of like at this weird angle. I guess I could turn the toe. You can kind of wiggle the toes a little bit because of transformation. But I just feel like if you look at his leg like this, the heel is definitely kind of like on a back slant, which naturally makes it want to lean backwards. So you kind of have to, like, you know, make him pitch forward a little bit, which can look a little awkward, but, I mean, he'll stand. It's not an issue, but maybe if I bring the toes a little forward. Nah, it doesn't really help. So, yeah, that's the only thing. The heels are kind of, like, weirdly slanted back, but that's it. Otherwise, he's great. I really like it. I think the robot mode looks good. Articulation's good. Paint applications are good. There is an Autobot symbol here on the chest. It gets a little lost. Whenever they do like the purple on a dark color or the red on a dark color, I wish they would outline them in white, but I guess they want them to be uniform, which I can understand, but really kind of gets lost there, unfortunately. But yeah, good robot mode, good articulation, color scheme, paint applications are solid, accessories are nice. Let's go ahead and get into his transformation. So if you've transformed Ratchet, really nothing new here. You're not going to be given any twists or turns. So we're going to start by dropping this back, flipping these panels out like so. Then you are going to take the shoulder pads and kind of lift them up. This whole like torso section, you're going to kind of grab and wiggle it out like that. Then you're going to take the shoulder pads and kind of bring them around like this. You're supposed to kind of push the head in, but it barely drops in, barely recedes, but you're going to bring these back and they will kind of meet like this behind the head. And you kind of can't do it any other way because of the way the ball joint's beveled. Like this is the only way you'll be able to push them this close together. And then you're going to bring this down and then this is going to sit inside there. Now the directions say that it clicks in place, but I don't really know where it would click. I don't see anything to make it click. So just kind of hold it in there. I mean, it's not a problem. It's not going to fall apart or anything, but it just sits in there like that. So now we're going to get to the arms, which I think is really cool. I love the way the arms work. So you're going to start by kind of just bringing them out here to the side, and then you're going to kind of bring them around. You can see that there's a little tab slot right there, and there's a little tiny tab right there. So you're going to want to use this pin, you can see it right there, to bend this down. And that will allow you to bring this up. And you might have to play with this hinge a little bit just to get them to line up. So you can get that, like you might have to tilt it a little bit to get that to peg in there. So we're going to rotate this around again until we line up the tab slot. Kind of tilt it up ever so slightly. Pop this part down. And then you might have to even tilt it up a little bit more so that it lines up. And then those will tab in nice and snug. Then we're going to rotate the arm around. And you can see that there's a nice big tab right there, and that is going to tab in right here. And again, you might have to just kind of swivel this around and then utilize the elbow to kind of bring it up a little bit so that lines up and tabs into place. So bring it down, swivel it back just slightly, and tab that all into place. And then there you go. That is the whole front section. Just going to bring this part and just plop it right down on top of everything. And it will click in place in several spots. So you just have to make sure that those all tab in. There we go. There we go. And that is the whole front section of the vehicle mode. I'm going to come to the hips, or waist, I guess I should say, and spin that 180. The legs actually transform really cool as well. I think that's what I like the most about this mold. I was impressed with it with Ratchet as well. Just the way everything contorts and transforms. It's really interesting. So you're going to come to the shins, and we're just going to pop them up like this. Actually, before we do that, swivel it around 180 at that thigh swivel above the knees. Then we're going to pop the shins up. And then this whole section here is going to kind of pop out, but it doesn't just fold down. There's kind of like a double hinge. So you kind of have to like swivel it out so that make sure you can see like there's a part of the hinge there and a part of the hinge there. So you want to bring this up so that it clears everything. There we go, like that. And then there's a panel here that's going to pop out. And then there's a tiny little tab right there that's going to tab in right there. So this just comes up and pops in there. And so this is what you should be left with. And then this is still kind of down like that. So come around to the other side. Kind of pop this out and swivel and clear. Then bring this panel up and pop that in there. Once you get to this point, you're going to utilize this large pin right there to swivel this whole section around. Now you might have a little bit of clearance with the thighs, but you can make it happen. And then you're going to kind of have to like bring this around as well, because you want basically the cutout of the hand piece to fit into this. So just kind of wiggle it around. You can move it around as you need to. And that will sit in there kind of like a perfect little jigsaw puzzle. Do this again. Make sure you clear the thigh. Bring this up. Fit into the puzzle piece. And then once you have that done, you'll be able to connect all of this, which might be a problem, but you can get there. The legs will connect together down here. This will all connect together. These pieces will connect together. They can be kind of a pain too. There we go. Just make sure everything is snapped together. These panels will also snap together. Make sure everything's where it's supposed to be. There we go. These little pieces will just flip up and just fill in the space. These were the toes on the robot mode. Then you're going to bring these up so you can see that there are two little tabs right here, and they will peg in here and here. And this actually adds more stability than you might think. This really kind of helps keep everything together by putting these in. Lines everything up. And then you have this little section here that's just going to rock forward and drop in. So click that all in there. Make sure everything's in the right spot. You might have to adjust some little panels as you go, but for the most part, that is Ironhide in vehicle mode. So taking a look at Ironhide in vehicle mode, I love it. Honestly, very Cybertronian inspired. It is kind of just a big fat brick, but I really love it. I think the contour's neat. Paint applications are good. You have the kind of dark gunmetal gray for the windows here on the top and the sides. I kind of wish that this was all uniform red, but I understand, you know, for the hands and the pieces of the feet that they had to do, like, you need the gray for the robot mode. All of the paint here on the front, this gunmetal gray looks really nice. You have a little bit of that kind of orangish red here in the grille, as well as the Autobot symbol. But yeah, overall I like it quite a bit. Rolls really nicely. All the wheels are pinned on, which is always nice. Very fun. Now, when it comes to mounting the weapons, this is the only part of the vehicle mode I think is kind of lame, because there's no way to, like, put the gun on the front and have him shoot while he's driving. You can only mount it. You can see these two square spots here on the back, and this just pegs in on the back here, which I think is kind of lame. But, and also, well, maybe I'll have to turn this, or can I turn this around? Because the peg on the bottom makes it so he can't drive. So I guess you'd have to do it like that, because otherwise you won't roll. This will actually touch the ground if you do it the other way. As the directions show. Then you can take this, and you can see that there are two tabs here and another tab here, and so you can mount this whole thing like this. And I feel like they went to a lot of trouble to make sure that the axe is pointing forward, so I guess maybe you could pretend that this is a blaster now, but it's just weird. I don't know. It would be one thing if, like, you could do this, and then there was a way to attach this, like, on the top or something. And I've been kind of looking at it and seeing if there's something. I mean, you could kind of sit it, but it won't stay. Like, I feel like they should have just made it so that you could then put this on this, and then you could, even if you wanted to, like, take this part off and then somehow mount this. Actually, does that peg in? No. I was going to say, all they would have really had to do, if they would have taken that little bar out, and then this could have pegged in right there, and that would have been kind of perfect. But yeah, that's the only thing. Mounting the weapons on the vehicle mode, not that exciting. But not something I buy the toy for. It's just a thing you can do. Half the time I don't attach weapons to the vehicle mode anyway, because I think it looks goofy. But yeah, it's a fun little vehicle mode. I like it. I really do. And I think the way it transforms is really cool. I think that's a really neat bit of engineering. The way everything kind of really folds around and compacts in on itself. And I mean, you don't even see like a ton of robot kibble under here. I love the way the hands and the arms compact in, and the way the legs flip around and everything. Just really, really neat. Really fun to transform as well. I think Ironhide's a lot of fun. If you liked Ratchet, you're definitely going to like Ironhide. It's a great mold. I'm glad they got to use it twice. I think it makes total sense for be Ironhide and Ratchet, because of course they're always the same mold. But they did a really nice job with this one. I think it's a really fun mold. Transformation is fun, interesting, really cool engineering. Robot mode's great. Articulation's great. Paint applications, you know, it doesn't have the most. It doesn't have a ton, but it fits the color scheme and they work. Accessories are nice. I love the way you can hide the arm in the backpack if you want to connect the gun directly to the arm to simulate that arm transforming into the gun feature from the game. Axe is really cool. Yeah, I don't really have too much to complain about with this one. I really like him quite a bit. I feel like he's solid in both modes. You know, he's great. I love him. Definitely recommend checking him out. Like I said, if you liked Ratchet, you'll definitely like Ironhide. And I recommend both of them, honestly. I feel like they did change enough. You know, you have some remolding in the front of the kind of grill section back here, which is the backpack and robot mode. New head, new chest, new gun. The axe is the same, but it's a cool axe, so no problem there. Yeah, I don't know. Not really much to complain about with this guy. He's pretty great. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.